Hey guys, it's like a hero, and today I'm going to show you a quick video on how to complete the Mage Tower as a Ret Paladin. Myself, I've been healing this expansion and I wanted to do Ret. Now I was healer geared for this. I was spec'd into haste and versatility, so not exactly Ret stats, and I was able to do it this way. You're going to want to first grab a trinket, and this trinket is found in the Emerald Nightmare. It's in Legion, in the zone of Valshara. The trinket is called the Ravage Seed Pod, and it drops off Nythendra, the first boss in the Emerald Nightmare. It's relatively easy to get, obviously, because at this point you're max level, ideally, and you can farm it under normal, mythic, heroic, and for a different shot at getting it. And if you're still unlucky and you don't get it, you can even try farming it in LFR. And to get access to this in LFR, you'll be queued in solo. You go to Dalaran, and you go to the location marked on screen, and you're going to click on the Archmage Timeir there, and you're going to choose the Grant Me a Vision of Darkbow. So this is to gain access to old content under the LFR option. So this allows you to get another shot at getting mounts, or if you're trying to get this trinket, for example, but it just lets you get more Mog runs. Or, I guess if you're trying to actually do the content for the first time and you're the right level, I guess it lets you do LFR. But it will queue you solo because there's going to be no one else actually queuing up for this content. So once you click on it, it's going to put me in the queue finder. And because there's no one else, it just sends me in there by itself. And this is a cool thing that you can do for your Mog runs. But obviously for this, if you're super unlucky and you run it 3 times, normal, heroic, and mythic, you don't get it, you can run it one more time in LFR. And it just drops off this first boss. You kill the slimes, and that's it. Pop that trinket on cooldown. It's on a 1-minute cooldown. Pop it whenever it's up. The first mechanic and the most important mechanic here is called Blood of the Father. This is a 3-second cast that Sigrun does. And you can see right on the middle of my screen, it's counting down 6 seconds until she casts it. It is interruptible by either a stun or repentance. Ideally, it's repentance to interrupt it. So you're going to wait until the timer ends and she starts casting it. That is when you cast repentance. That will interrupt it, and then you immediately want to break her out of the repentance and continue to cleave. So let me just repeat that. You want to use repentance to interrupt the actual cast. So let the countdown go down, the big wiz countdown or deadly boss mods, and then when she starts casting it, that's when you cast your repentance. Your repentance will come out faster than the actual Blood of the Father cast. So you will interrupt it. Then you'll break her out of the repentance and continue to cleave. This is the most important mechanic to know. The second one is on screen right now, and that's when 3 runes appear on the ground. These appear every 40 seconds, every 45 to a minute, right around there, and you have to just run over them. If you don't make it, you can bubble through it to survive because it's just an AoE, but I recommend doing your best to save your charges for that and only that. The Crusader charges are important for getting out of these phases when you have to run over those runic detonations. If not, they'll blow up and you could bubble like I said earlier, but you want to save them. Save that bubble for the end when it starts to get a little more hectic. Another mechanic is done by Feljar, and that is ancestral knowledge. Basically what happens is the caster will form a shield, a bubble on them. You have to power through the bubble. She'll just DPS as much as you can. You don't normally have to pop anything more than just normal DPS. Just always pop your cooldowns when they come up. That should be enough to get through the bubble. You get through the bubble and then you interrupt the cast itself. If you don't interrupt the cast, AoE damage happens. You can bubble through it, but if you don't, you're going to wipe. The run is over. You always want to keep cleaving no matter what. That is the name of the game here. Cleave more. If this run takes more than 5 minutes or so, they're going to start casting their abilities so fast that it's very hard to survive. And so in order to do that, you always have to keep them as close as possible and keep cleaving, keep doing your AoE damage, pop your cooldowns when they come up. We'll talk more about consumables towards the end of the video here. The next person that you have to worry about is Velbrand. And Velbrand casts a couple different spells. The first being Berserker's Rage. Berserker's Rage is a huge boost to his damage, and it's kiteable. You can cast your judgment to slow him down there. I'll link my spec in the description below, so you can check it out there. I'll also have a list of consumables is there as well that I use. But you can do that. You can kite. You could also stun Velbrand to reduce the damage. Remember, it's about 6 seconds stun, and the Berserker's Race lasts about 14 seconds. So you want to still kite. You want to pop your shield at that point, damage reduction, and just kind of run around on your horse to avoid that damage. The final ability that you really got to watch out for is the Whirlwind. Normally, this is what I save my stun for because it does slow down your DPS a lot if you have to run away from him all the time. Sometimes they will overlap between Blood of the Father and Whirlwind. So you just got to be careful that you're not having to cast that while that goes off. So just make sure that you have your stun ready when that Blade Storm is about to go off, because they're usually, you can see right now on screen how they're like really close to each other right there. So if that's happening, just save your stun so that when Blade Storm gets cast, you can interrupt Valorant right away and continue DPSing. Remember, you want to just save your Repentance for the Blood of the Father. That's the only thing you're using it for. Towards the end of the encounter, it starts getting a little bit hectic. The enemies will start casting their abilities a little bit quicker. And so for that, when that starts to happen, I do advise that you kind of switch up the strategy a little bit. I found out that it really helped me to keep Sigrun Repentanced. So Repentance will last 1 minute. So towards the end, because the abilities are being cast back to back and they're all kind of overlapping, it's a great idea to kind of separate Sigrun from everyone else. Just kind of run off to the side. I'm going to show you here on screen what I do. I kind of just run away from everyone. I just kind of run to a corner. And when Sigrun gets to me, I'm just going to Repentance her. And then I'm going to drag the other to the other side. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to accidentally, hit her with a judgment or AoE to break that. But what that's going to allow you to do is to just focus on just these mechanics and not having to worry about interrupting. They're still going to share that damage, so you still get it. And you're going to see here that this is how I completed it. I am able to, just focus on the shield, and that's it. I don't have to worry about Sigrun casting Blood of the Father. I'm going to burn one down, burn the other one down, and that's the fight. I do recommend running this a couple of times to kind of get the mechanics down, and then later on you can add your combat potions and your drums for bloodlust, right? And your elixirs and all that. So I'm going to link those in the description below, the ones that I used and my build. And after you have it down a couple of times, then I would throw those in there. I know the drums can be a little expensive depending on your server, but those will all be in the description. You're going to pop your combat potion and the drums, all your cooldowns in the initial pool. So don't worry about like, when do I use it? The first initial pull where you're grouping them all three together, that's when you're going to pop your drums, your potion, your superior potion of strength. All of them will be popped there. So good luck. Let me know what you thought about the video in the comments. Make sure to like the video if you liked it, if you found it helpful. Subscribe for future content. I'm really into WoW. Usually kind of do other content on the channel, but I'm going to be doing a lot of World of Warcraft content from the healer perspective and Ret as well of Paladin. So I will see you guys in Season 2.